Scizor was one of the coolest Pokemon to come out of the Johto era. Like between him and Steelix, I just had a hard time trying to choose which Steel type I wanted to put on my team, and you know what? I ended up putting both. I did, but Scizor was just like, I don't know, just something about him just seemed very like agile and quick, and just all sorts of like, I'm gonna, totally destroy my opponent by any means necessary. Like he was just a fierce Pokemon in my opinion. I think he lost speed stats when he evolves from Scyther, because Scyther is a pretty fast Pokemon. But still, I mean, he had good attacks in my opinion. I don't know, I'm not the VGC expert, but I'm just excited there's a Scizor-GX card. Now, as far as if that card is going to be playable or not, I'm kind of hoping it is, but if not, well, that's what we're here to take a look at. So this is not the first time I've seen it, but this is going to be the first time I'm going to kind of really break down the attacks, really think about, is it really doable? Is it viable in the meta? Or when it releases, will it be something to look forward to? We're going to find that out. So let's start with the Scyther first. Now we do know, well actually before that, let's go ahead and make sure that we know that this is going to be coming from the Champion Road set in Japan, which I believe is going to come out in our Celestial Storm set, which is set in August. That's a lot of ways or words to say. I said set like 5,000 times. So Champion Road will hit store shelves in Japan on May 3rd and will then be integrated into our Celestial Storm set in August. So there you go. Now it's official. So let's take a look at Scyther here. So this was the old Scyther from that Ruby and Sapphire EX era. 60 HP, search your deck for 2 Scyther, and then it has agility 1 and then 2 energy costs. Looks like that Scyther is exactly the same, 70 HP this time though, so that's the only difference. But Twin Play, search your deck for up to 2 Scyther and play them onto your bench and then shuffle your deck. That's exactly like Twin Play. Agility, 20 damage, flip a coin. If heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage from this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. Exactly like the old one. So there's a couple positives here. One, it's got 70 HP, so it's very hard to knock it out. Very good on that part. And then the Twin Play is not that bad, especially if that's like the only thing that you have out. So let's say it's like your first turn, but you're going second. So you could essentially use that to start building up your bench in case you didn't get like a Bridget, but I think at that point Bridget's going to get rotated. So if you didn't get a Bridget or any nest balls or anything, it's not that bad to start off with. So that's also a positive. Now, as far as what's negative about it, the 1 retreat cost is actually a bit surprising. I would have expected maybe a 0 retreat cost, but 1 isn't terrible. And then the weakness to fire is kind of a bad thing, just because we know that steel types or metal types, man, the TCG and VGC really got to work on their language here. The metal types in the upcoming set Forbidden Light, or not necessarily metal types, but the metal support, it's just going to have metal types run the meta for, I think, a little while, or at least see a huge rise in the meta over the next few months. Hopefully the whole Buzzwole Zoroark thing will be kind of died down by then, but who knows. So because of the metal Pokemon rising, there's going to be more fire to play. And I know fire is getting a lot of support in Dragon Storm. So yeah, fire weakness is not a good thing to have. And unfortunately, the Scizor-GX card also has fire weakness. But it's got a resistance to Psychic, which is pretty good because people still play Garbodor. And we don't have to worry so much about that anymore with that resistance. So now on to the Grand Master himself, Scizor-GX. HP of 210. That's pretty good. It's pretty standard for a Stage 1 GX, so props there. Retreat cost of 1, that is good as well. I know it's kind of like, well, you said 0 retreat's fine. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense for Scyther, but like I said in the video game before, Scizor, I'm pretty sure lost speed stats when it evolved into this Pokemon, so it makes sense for it to be a retreat cost there. So it's only 1 energy too, so it's not a huge deal. Now, as far as its ability and attack, so if we look at its ability, As long as this Pokemon's remaining HP is 100 or less, this Pokemon's attacks do 80 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So let me take a look at the HPs less as 100 or less. Now that's kind of risky, but if you think about it, no Pokemon except for Fire can really do a one shot on this guy. I'm trying to think. So Fire Pokemon obviously can, but Duskmane, I guess if you what am I trying to say here? If you use the Meteor Tempest or even the GX attack, you could put a bodybuilding dumbbells on this Pokemon, raise it up to 250 HP to survive a Meteor Tempest. So it's at first when I first read it, I was like, that's kind of bad. Like, why would anyone want to risk their HP like that so low? But it makes sense, and it's not as terrible as I thought, because if you're not getting one hit KO'd, you're gonna get two hit KO'd, and if that first shot brings you down less than 100, which most likely it will, because that's what 120 damage that needs to be done. Zoroark does 120. What a Buzzwole does 160. It's going to be doable. That means that gives you an opportunity to retaliate and come back with more force, so you do 80 more damage onto your attacks. So it's actually a pretty good ability, and it's workable. Now, as far as the attacks go, Steel Wing, 80 damage for 2 energy, 1 metal, 1 colorless. During your opponent's next turn, any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 30. So, let's see. If your HP is 100 or less, that's 160. Choice Band puts it to 90. You know what? This is actually pretty good attack, because if you think about it, so I was talking about Meteor Tempest, right? So you attack the Duskmane, you do that 80 damage, but then when he attacks you with Meteor Tempest, it only does, 190? So that brings you down, but that also activates your ability. And then thinking on the GX attack, well, if you have bodybuilding dumbbells, if you've done Steel Wing, then the GX attack only then does 220, which puts you under, so you're still going to be able to retaliate. So it's not that bad of an attack, actually. Not, the more you think about it, the better it is. Even without the ability, it's 110, so you're two shining a lot of things. For 2 energies, that's not terrible. Usually 120 is the standard, but you have that added effect of reducing damage by 30 on that next turn. Plus, now that I think about it, there is that steel frying pan card, which I believe also reduces more damage onto your metal Pokemon. So I can see it happening. Yeah, it's going to work out pretty good. Now, the only other attack it has is a GX attack, which interestingly enough is 3 energies, 3 colorless energies. So you could technically tech this into any other deck and have that metal weakness. So in case maybe you're playing all water, but you need a Pokemon to fight against fairy types for that weakness, then you could play this one. Now, even without I'm trying to say here, because I'm jumping ahead of my thoughts here. Even without the weakness, this GX attack is pretty lethal to evolved Pokemon, because that's what it targets. So for 100 damage, or for 3 energies, does 100 damage, Crosscut GX, but if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolved Pokemon, this attack does 100 more damage. 200 damage to a Gardevoir, which is going to KO it with the weak. That's 400 damage to a Gardevoir GX. What else? To an evolved Pokemon, so 200 to a Zoroark, which you could easily just bump that up with, I don't know, a Delmise, I guess, if you wanted to play a Delmise with this deck, or if you wanted to put a Choice Band on there. What else is there? So 200 also knocks out, what's another? A Napoleon. 200 knocks out, what other Pokemon is used these days? I guess any of the evolutions. So you have your Espeon, your Umbreon, your Glaceon, and your Leafeon. So this is actually a pretty nice GX attack for those for those types of situations. And like I said, it's easily techable into other decks. So at first glance, I was like, I don't know too much about this card, but now that I actually got to sit down and read through the attacks very carefully, I'm liking this card more and more. So I give it a lot of props. I'm actually excited about it. Because he is one of my favorite Johto Pokemon, I think I want to try to make this deck and see if I can make it work. So I am definitely looking forward to it. And looking back on the old one, everything's pretty much the same. So danger perception, HP is less, it does more damage. Yep. It's just that all the numbers are just kind of updated. So, and the artwork you can see is pretty much the same position, same pose, and everything. So pretty cool. I give Scizor, I don't know what, like a 4 out of 5, maybe because I'm biased, but I think he's gonna hold well on his own. Now, as far as another card, this one was just recently revealed, not too long ago, as you can see, posted 4 hours ago. TV Reporter. It is a trainer card from Champions Road, and I gotta say it's extremely underwhelming. I don't know why anyone would play this card. Maybe back then in the Ruby and Sapphire era, draw support was thought of differently. But anyway, it does, what the effect is, draw 3 cards. So basically how, or what was a Tierno. But then you discard a card from your hand. I don't see any reason to do that for any benefit. Like, why would you get rid of a card in your hand just to draw 3 cards? The only thing I see that being beneficial, if you somehow combo it to that way, maybe you discard a water energy and you Aqua Patch, or you discard a Pokemon and you Rescue Stretcher. I honestly don't see any benefit. I mean, we have other better ways of discarding. If you want to discard Fire Energy, there's what's the stadium card called? Burning Fields, Field something something Earth. I can't remember right now. I'm totally losing my train of thought. But if you want to discard any other cards from your hand, there's Ultra Ball, there's Plumeria. I mean, there's other cards that I feel like are better than this. It's a nice full art. I'll give it that. I like the blue to it. I like the capture pose to it. It's nice, but I just don't see it being played at all. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe something is going to happen in the next several months until we get this card. We'll see. But there it is in all its glory. TV Reporter. Obviously, the best news here was the Scizor-GX. So anyway, that's going to be it for the news for my analysis of these couple cards. I'm mixing up my series already. Let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty excited about this card. I'm looking forward to trying to make a deck out of this card, and I hope you guys are too. Please like, subscribe, do what you got to do, and I will see you all in the next video.